welcome back to season 7 of What Are You Listening To? First, I hope that you're enjoying season 7 so far, and I hope you enjoyed our preview of season 3 of The Battle last week. If you are not checking out this season of The Battle, please do. Matt Sidholm and I are looking to place the captain's hat on one yacht rock song that rules them all. So if you enjoy that genre, and who doesn't, please join us for season 3 of The Battle Yacht Rock. For this week's episode of What Are You Listening To? I am doing another time capsule episode. For those of you that haven't listened to a What Are You Listening To time capsule episode yet, it is exactly what it sounds like. Time capsule episodes consist of bits and pieces, thoughts, and emotions in the form of songs that are meant to evoke a certain place, time, or life phase. I'm going to bring you a 4-song playlist like always, but time capsule episodes are not interview style. They're simply meant to create a vibe or mark an audio moment in time. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. For this time capsule, I'm going back to the title of the show. For episode 1, when we kicked off season 7, Matt took us on a journey of what he was listening to. And of course, it was Bruce Springsteen, but he did help us wade through the 80 plus tracks that Bruce released earlier this summer, and picked 4 songs to get us going. And so, with that in mind, I really like the idea of going back to the "What are you listening to" part of the title of the show, and decided to give you 4 songs that I am listening to right now this week. 4 songs that I have on repeat. 2 of them are newish singles that came out this summer, and 2 are slightly older songs from bands that I just discovered and have been loving. So, which songs do you think made the cut? Well, you're about to find out. And as you listen, if any of these songs are new to you, don't worry. We'll publish a playlist with the episode so you don't miss a beat. All right, let's get into it. I think when I listen to this playlist as a whole, you can tell that my vibes are transitioning to fall. Like, this playlist almost feels like a sunset. Like I'm saying goodbye to the long summer days and, hello to cooler temps. Hopefully, I mean, we're still living in 90-degree weather here in Austin, Texas, but hopefully, we're headed towards cooler temps and fall colors. But I think that the first song on this playlist sort of sets the tone beautifully for the rest of the playlist. And like I said, I'm going to sort of have you transition with me out of long summer days to like the final moments of that amazing last party of the summer before school starts and work's back in full swing. Summer Fridays are over and you sort of have to face reality. So I think this playlist is very vibey and reflective of being in that season right now, the midway between summer and fall. So the first track is a song called Motel 6 by LaFlor. This song was released as a single back on July 12th this summer. And LaFlor is a Japanese Korean American. She's been labeled as sort of indie country, but I don't know. She sounds really poppy to me. The melodies are really poppy. I think she tells great stories. So that feels a little bit country in that her songs are very storytelling based. But really, she seems super poppy to me. She lives in Redondo Beach, California. And this is one of those songs, I mentioned this in the intro, that some of the songs this week, I feel like you can actually like hear the beach in the background. Like they're super end of summer vibes. And I think maybe 3 out of the 4 tracks this week, I literally feel like I can almost hear the waves in the background. And this is one of them. I think that this music is definitely a mix of, cultural influences. You can hear artists that she loves. She has said she was heavily influenced by artists like Prince and ABBA and Madonna. But she also is into like 70s classic, like, the Topanga Canyon music of like Neil Young. She also says Johnny Cash is an influence. So maybe that's where, sort of again, that the country flair comes in. But I don't want to scare you off from giving this artist a try. If you're not a fan of country music, I really think that this does skew a lot more pop. Her debut single was a song called Most Wanted Man, and that was released on September 5th of 2024. So she's been around just about a year now. But I really encourage you to check out this music. I love her voice. I feel like there's so much emotion in her voice. And she also released an acoustic version of this song, which is very good. It sounds that sounds perhaps a little bit more country than this version that I'll attach to the playlist. But it's worth checking out. I think that the acoustic version is also good. She also has some lyric videos that are up on YouTube that are also cool. If you're wondering, what her look and vibe is, she stars in the lyric videos. So those are kind of cool to check out as well, to just kind of get a feel for her. But I think that this is like, this song as well as some of her other music, it's all kind of vibey like this, just a very mellow, cool vibe. I also like it for driving music. It's great if you've got, a commute or something to pop in one of these albums. It feels good, but it's not too heavy duty or overwhelming. She has another great song called Lasso the Moon. I'd say check that one out as well. It's kind of got some old school, like, I don't know, like doo-wop vibes, maybe a little bit. Hopefully I'm making that sound intriguing and not deterring you from listening. It also looks like she's got some new material coming out on October 3rd. I don't know if it's a single or an EP. It's called No Vacancy, but I'm excited for that. Anytime she drops something new, again, sometimes a lyric video accompanies it as well, but it's always good. Everything sounds uniquely like her, and the songs are different for it being as vibey as it is. I didn't get tired of it. I don't get tired when I'm listening to, several of her songs in a row. I'm still enjoying it. So she definitely sets the tone, but it's not one note. So I think definitely check her out if you're not familiar. Tiger LaFlor. And that leads us right into track number two. This is a song from an artist that you guys have heard me talk a lot about at the end of season 6. Last season, I had discovered this artist at the beginning of this year and just became obsessed immediately. Track number two is actually a duet. It's a song called Rein Me In by Sam Fender and Olivia Dean. This was also a single that was released this summer, a little earlier in the summer than Motel 6. This one came out in early June, or late June, actually, June 20th. And like I mentioned in the lead up to this track, I love Sam Fender. When I first discovered him, I just immediately connected with his voice, his lyrics. And I was in the UK, in the town that he's from, actually, when I first heard his music. And so I don't know if that's why it kind of stuck with me as well, because I was in Newcastle when I was listening to him, and it just really felt of the time and place. But I just think he's so good. If you've not checked out Sam Fender, I can't recommend it enough, especially if you're a fan of like Bruce Springsteen, that genre, even like a Ryan Adams, I would say. Even though I don't love Mumford and Sons, you can hear a little bit of, like a folky music bent to some of the songs as well, some of the, especially musically. So anyway, if you're not familiar with Sam Fender, definitely check him out. And then this song in particular, this vocal pairing just really works for me. It's not new, but I love it to put these, two kind of voices together. They really complement one another so well. And Sam Fender, even though again, like I said, this isn't a new pairing, the story in the song is not new. It's a story of a man who's struggling to open up and the woman who loves him. Like again, not a new storyline, but it works really well. And I think that the lyrics are so good in this. Sam Fender does a great job at putting on paper what he's feeling. And it's very raw, it's very unpolished. And I think this song is no different. He has a great lyric about how all the bars around here serve my ghosts and carcasses. I'm just like, yeah, that's pretty, that hits. Like you feel it whenever he says it. I think the other thing that works really well too about this song as a duet is that it's very believable in the hands of these two artists. I believe them the way I believe like Kenny Rogers and Dolly Parton in Islands in the Stream. Like I think part of a duet is that you're buying the bits, you're buying the characters, and I feel like I definitely am in this song. And once again, I think even though the story is old, this is a fresh take on it. And if you're familiar with the song actually, this version, the duet, is a remix. The song was originally released on Sam Fender's third studio album. It's an album called People Watching. And then he reworked it as a duet with Olivia Dean. And I think he actually, at one of his live performances, just kind of pulled her on stage and they did this song and people loved it so much. They did it again and it just was getting so much traction that they finally decided to record it. But it is such a the original, again, like I mentioned, the original is great. The way I was talking about the Tiger LaFlor song, that the version I attached to the playlist is fantastic. The acoustic version is good. Same thing here. The original is fantastic. The version in the playlist is fantastic. Like, definitely check them all out and decide for yourself which one you like. But I think it just adds a different level to have the duet. It adds a whole new I don't know, level of accountability in the story of the song. So I think that this one works very well as a duet. And also, too, if you're not familiar with Olivia Dean, certainly worth checking out, an English, British neo soul singer, kind of, like an Amy Winehouse type. She has released one album and I think one studio album. Many EPs, and I think that her next album, it is called, let me look for the name, The Art of Loving, is due for release on September 26th. So she has another new album coming. So again, Sam Fender, if you're not familiar, definitely get yourself familiar. His 17 Going Under album is one of my favorites from this year. It actually didn't come out this year, but I discovered it this year. And also Olivia Dean. If you don't know her and you like sort of that British neo soul sound, she's great. So I definitely encourage you to check out Olivia Dean as well. And she has new material coming out at the end of the month, September 26th. All right, that's going to transition us right into track 3. This is a band that I cannot wait to talk about. Not a new band, but new to me. And I, again, cannot get enough. Constant repeat, trying to get my hands on every single thing that they've released from hearing this song. And so track number 3 is a song called Foaming by the band Day We Ran. This song was released as a single on February 24th, 2023, which was also my mother's birthday. For those of you that have listened to Lauren Sposata and I's Mother's Day episode, you know how important music was to Lauren and I and our moms. And so I think it's magical that this song was released as a single on her birthday, and I love it so much. But this is a band that I stumbled on just via the Spotify algorithm. And like I said, from the first time I heard the song Foaming, I've gotten my hands on every single thing I can possibly get my hands on that they've released. This is a band from New South Wales, Australia. They sound very like SoCal to me, kind of like The Neighborhood, or even though I know they're not a SoCal band, Surfaces, like that kind of sound. I mentioned early on that a lot of these songs sound like they have beach vibes, like you can hear the beach or the ocean in the background. This is another one. The only one on the playlist that I wasn't really getting that from was the duet, the Sam Fender Olivia Dean duet that's sitting in the track 2 position. But this one, I think too, you really can hear the beachy vibes come through in everything from the music, the way the song opens, to the lyrics. It's just so cool. When I was looking for a little bit more information about the band, I loved this. Wikipedia described them as a blend of indie rock, surf rock, and alternative with a focus on vocal harmonies. I was like, okay, sometimes they nail it, sometimes they don't. But I felt like that was an apt description of all the things that you get when listening to this band. And, like I said, this song had me hooked from the very first note. And then I felt like it just kept getting better and better and better. Not only the longer I listened to the song, but the more times I listened to it. I think sometimes you get tired of a song, the more you hear it. This is one, like, the more I hear it, the more I love it. It just keeps getting better. And I keep discovering new things every time I listen to it. They also have, I think their latest single is a song called Snake with a Bone, which is also worth checking out. So, so good. Really, again, anything you can get your hands on by this band, listen. I think that they are so fantastic. I cannot wait to get new material from them. I'm not sure when it's coming, but I'm hopeful that they are in the studio working on new stuff as we speak. And like I said, Foaming was their debut single. So the song that you'll hear on this playlist was sort of the first thing they put out there. And like I said, it just keeps getting better and better. But I think that they are definitely worth listening to if you're not familiar. Check them out. I think they also go really well with the vibe of, like, a Tiger LaFlor. So if you wanted to put those albums on back to back or listen to their music back to back, they flow into each other nicely. Not that you need to skip the Sam Fender Olivia Dean track, it's just a different vibe. And I'm loving that as well. So, as we head into track number 4, we're going to round out the playlist with another band that is not new, but new to me, called Almost Monday. And this is a song called Can't Slow Down. Now, this was on their album Dive. I believe this was their third studio album, maybe. Have to look. This might be their first full-length studio album, but it was released on September 25th of 2024. So again, not quite a year old. But to me, this band sounds a lot like RAC, like Rack, Joywave, MGMT. Like, they sound very similar to that. Definitely in that same genre. But I think that this is such a feel good song. Again, if we talk about this playlist as kind of being a sunset or reminding me of a sunset, this is the way I'm ending it. This is that final moment right before the sun sets when you're leaving the party on a high note and you've just had the best night ever. That's what this song feels like to me. This band is from San Diego. Again, I know I keep mentioning it, but do you hear the beach in this one too? I really do. And like I said, I think that's 3 out of the 4 songs on the playlist are giving beach vibes. So I guess I am really having a hard time letting summer go. But this band's debut EP was called Don't Say You're Ordinary, and it came out in late 2020. And then they had another EP called Till the End of Time that came out in 2021. And then, yes, their debut studio album was this album, Dive, and it came out at the end of September on 2024. So like I said, they've been around for just about 5 years, but they are new to me and have been loving them. They are from San Diego. They all went to high school together. They also surfed in San Diego together and then all stayed in the area for college. So yeah, I've just been kind of hanging around for the last 5 years working on material. Their first single was a song called Broken People. And I think that one actually came out in 2019, April of 2019. And it did well. It reached number 27 on the Billboard Alternative Airplay chart. So they've been around, they've been out there. I'm not sure why it's taken me this long to stumble across them, but I am so glad I did. I think I mentioned at the top too that they reminded me a lot of Joywave and MGMT. And as I was digging into them a little bit more, it's not weird that they remind me of Joywave, probably because they toured with them in 2022. And they also opened for AJR in 2023, but don't let that discourage you if AJR is a little bit too campy for you. These guys are much more Joywave, MGMT than they are AJR. So definitely, I only say that because they have been touring with some pretty big name bands. Again, it's more of shocking to me, just announcing how shocking it is that I haven't run across them sooner. But again, so glad I did. Check this band out if you're not familiar with them. They are a perfect way to end your summer. Speaking of endings, I have to end this show by saying thank you, listeners. You guys have been so great, and I'm thrilled that you are back for season 7. I've also loved reading all the lovely comments and feedback. Please keep it coming at Jenn, at superawesomemix.com or through DMs on Instagram at JennJenn1020. That's JENNJENN1020. I love hearing from you, and I loved hearing from you over the summer too about some of the favorite episodes that we were replaying during the summer break. So thank you guys. Let me know what you're thinking of season 7. I'm anxious to hear from you. I also hope this episode and playlist help you ease out of summer and take some new songs and new bands into the fall. As always, be sure to follow, download, and share this show. And if you love listening, please share this show with a friend that you think might enjoy listening to. And last but not least, to stay informed on all things Super Awesome Mix and what are you listening to, be sure to follow us on Instagram at Super Awesome Mix. Thanks again for listening, and please join me again next week to find your new favorite song.